Let me ask you something. Do you think I suffer? No. Well, maybe you don't know who I am, but I struggled with depression, with negative thoughts, with addiction, with daily agony, suffering for years and years and years. I know what it's like to be depressed. I know what it's like to be suicidal and to suffer miserably every single day. And to be lost without hope. Like there's just nothing that we can do. And you see, when we reach this point where we are so desperate, we have no idea how to get out of this and what to do. This is your greatest moment. Why? Because the moment when you have nothing left to give is the moment when you can finally surrender and let it all go. Because you see, the suffering and the struggle only happens because we are at war with ourselves. We go to war with our mind, we're at war with the world. And you can't have peace and war at the same time. And so the only way to stop suffering miserably is to give up that fight. That doesn't mean give up your life. That doesn't mean give up your dreams. It means allowing yourself to surrender to the present moment and let life take over. Because this divine intelligence that is life has already created the entire cosmos. And we come along with our little egos and say, oh, well, I gotta get my stuff together. I gotta control and make life the way that I want it to be. But in reality, no one can do a better job than life. And we are so small and insignificant as this person that the best we can do is just mess things up and make things worse. And so you see, I stopped suffering when I realized that the person who suffers does not exist. That it is but an idea in my mind that I chose to believe in, and that I continue to reinforce through my beliefs, through what I could consider evidence in the world. Oh yes, I do have a mental illness, or I am this way. Look at all the evidence that reaffirms my belief. But what you realize is that the moment we make an identity out of something, our mind hyperfocuses on all the evidence to reaffirm that identity, so that our ego parasite can continue feeding off of us. Now, it's not bad to have an identity, but if you have an identity that's ruining your life, well then something needs to be addressed. You can change a negative identity to a positive identity, and your life will change for the good. But still, in the ego form, we are limited. We can only do so much. There's this quote that says, let go and let God. Because if you had the opportunity to allow the divine intelligence of the universe to act and live through you, would you not take that deal? We place these burdens upon ourselves unnecessarily, because these burdens in a way also reinforce our identity. And we will do anything, we will go to the ends of the earth to reinforce who we believe we are. And anybody who challenges that, they are our enemy. But you see, those who suffer the most have the greatest opportunity for freedom. Because they're done playing the games, they're tired, they've had enough. And that is the place that I had to come to in order to finally find this freedom. Because until you reach this point of maximum suffering, you can be content, you can be satisfied in the world. You can get by, and you can settle for a limited life. If you don't ever really have it bad enough, there's no reason to change. There's no reason to make things better. That is why Christ said, "If you are lukewarm, I will spit you out of my mouth." Better to be hot or cold. You see, we continue to hold on to these identities. For what? For what reason? When in reality, if you were to close your eyes and try to find the person you believe yourself to be, you would not find it. So you have to ask yourself, do I want to keep feeding this identity? Do I want to keep playing life as this person in this limited form? Or do I want to be free? Do I want to have relief from the suffering of this life? Because it's a choice. Suffering is a choice. Most of the suffering in our life is the pain we inflict upon ourselves. Everything else is tolerable. We are designed to be tough, but we cannot bear the suffering that we place upon ourselves. At any moment you can drop the fight, because it's all in our mind. All of our problems, all of our suffering arises from the story that we tell ourselves about the way life is, about who we are. And what you find, if you really look, is that it's all imaginary, and we can become whoever we want to be, because we have the infinite power of creation within us that is the essence of God. And we don't have to play life from this limited ego form. We don't have to suffer as a person, but we can be free. This is what I call the difference between playing life on demo mode and playing the full version. Because until you're free, you will always be a slave to this or that, to your programming, to society, to the matrix, to your ideas and your thoughts and your emotions. And being a slave is not fun. But when you are free, it doesn't matter what happens, because all of the different spices of life are equally valid. Sometimes you want the sweet, sometimes you want the sour or bitter. You realize that everything has its purpose, and you don't have to be so stuck in the drama, because it's so heavy that it crushes you. And the more you continue to feed it and believe it and reinforce this story, the more your whole life gets consumed by darkness. Because oftentimes the story that consumes us is negative. Freedom is yours anytime you wish. You just have to give up the fight. You just have to stop playing the games. Let go of the story.